Welcome back. Most of us begin to learn about electricity with direct current or DC. This is the type of current that we are getting from a battery or cell. But for our domestic purpose, we have another type of current which is called alternating current or AC. In other words, this is the type of current that we are using for our electric fan, bulb, electric tube, etc. So now we have a new chapter that deals with the properties of this alternating current. So we may straight away start our lesson. Welcome. In the last class we have learned about electromagnetic induction. That is, whenever the magnetic flux linked with a coil changes, an EMF is induced. One of the important application of this electromagnetic induction is AC generator or the generation of alternating current. So our present chapter is alternating current. So what is an alternating current or what is AC? How this AC is different from DC? DC means direct current. Direct current means it is unidirectional. Means the current or the electrons will flow in a single direction. So direct current means the electrons will follow in a single direction, but AC means the direction of flow will be different. So there is a basic difference between AC and DC. So we know that the current is due to the flow of electrons. In the case of DC, these electrons are moving in a single direction, right? It is also called a unidirectional current. And when the electrons flow through the bulb or when these electrons flow through the filament will heat up and it will glow. That is how we get light from DC. Then what is AC? So in the case of AC, the direction of current will be altering or the direction of current will be changing continuously. So if it is forward, then it is backward, right? So that is the difference between AC and DC. So again, suppose there are some electrons in a conductor, and for AC the electrons are moving like this. They will move forward, then stop, then it will move backward. So this way electrons will alter in their direction. That is why it is called alternating current. Electrons move backwards, then electrons move forward. This way electrons flow, right? That is how AC and DC are different. Now because of the flow of electrons, the filament will heat up and this will make the bulb glow, or that is how we are getting light from the bulb. Okay, so this is how we are getting light from AC. Now if you watch this light closely, you can see that there is a small flickering for the light like this, right? There is a small flickering for the light. So it is because of the motion of the electrons. The electrons will move forward, then it stops and it is again going back. So it is because of this peculiar nature of electrons that these bulbs flicker. So the current is produced in a generator or AC generator. So in the previous class we have learned that whenever the magnetic flux linked with a coil changes, an EMF is induced and the current so produced is called inducer current. So here you can see these two are two magnetic poles. This one is say north pole, and other one is this one is south pole and this one is north pole, and this one is a rectangular coil. And when this rectangular coil rotates in this magnetic field, the magnetic flux linked to this coil will change, right? This in turn produces a current. So when this coil rotates, a current is produced in this coil, and this current flow through this brushes B1 and B2. So the current flow through these loads, and it is coming through the brushes B1 and B2. Actually, the current flow from B2 to B1, right? In the next rotation of the coil, so that is the second figure, you can see. So in the first half cycle, this is the first half cycle or first half rotation. So in the first half rotation, we can see the direction of current is from B2 to B1, or the current is flowing through the loads is from B2 to B1, and this half rotation is called half cycle. Then in the next half cycle, that is the second figure, or in the second half, the sides P will reach the other point because of this rotation, and or the PQ will reach the other side of the mechanism, or the side PQ of the coil will reach the north pole. Previously it was in the south pole. So through this rotation it will reach the other side, or it will reach the north pole. That is the second half, or that is the second cycle. And you can see that now the flow of current is from B1 to B2, right? So the direction of the current changes. The direction of the current changes, or the direction of the electron flow will reverse, right? Just we have seen in the previous session, or in the previous video, that the electrons flowing through the the electrons flowing through the bulb reverses the direction. So here also you can see in the first half cycle the direction of the current is say forward, then in the next half cycle it is backward. So this way the direction of the current reverses in the case of alternating current, and that is why it is called alternating current. The direction of the current will change. Then in the previous class we have learned the magnetic flux through the coil. The magnetic flux through the coil, so this is the coil, the magnetic flux through this coil will be what? Phi is equal to NBA, or here N represents the number of turns, B is the flux, and A is the area of the coil. So it is N into B dot A, and that is equal to NBA cos theta. Then what is this theta? We know that angular velocity omega is equal to angular displacement theta by time. So just like velocity is equal to displacement by time, angular velocity omega is equal to angular displacement theta divided by time t. Therefore theta is equal to omega into t, or omega t. Therefore in this equation we can write it as NBA cos omega t. Then what is the induced EMF in the coil? We have induced EMF in the coil, E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So that is equal to minus d by dt of phi. And what is phi? Phi is equal to NBA cos omega t. And here N is the number of turns of this coil, B is the magnetic flux density of this magnet, and A is the area of this coil. So all these terms are constants, right? Therefore this is equal to what? Minus NBA into d by dt of cos omega t. And what is d by dt of cos omega t? It is equal to minus sin omega t into omega. It is a very simple differentiation. So d by dt of cos omega t is minus sin omega t into omega. Now minus into minus is plus. Therefore finally this equation is NBA omega into sin omega t. So that is the induced EMF. Now again this NBA, all these are constants, and what is omega? Omega is the angular velocity. So for a constant angular velocity omega, we may write NBA omega as a constant. Therefore we may write E is equal to E0 sin omega t. And what is E0? E0 is NBA into omega. So E is equal to E0 sin omega t is the induced EMF, or it is also called instantaneous EMF. Why it is called instantaneous EMF? Because E is equal in the equation E equal to E0 sin omega t. E0 is a constant, right? But the value of this term or the value of RHS will change with respect to time, or it will change with respect to omega t, right? So as the value of omega t change, the value of E0 will change. That is why it is called instantaneous EMF. So how the value of E equal to E0 sin omega t changes? It depends on the value of omega t. So how the value of omega t changes? It changes from an initial angle is 0 to a maximum angle of the rotation is 360 degree. Okay. So when the theta is 0, when the theta is equal to 0, what is the value of E0 sin omega t? We know that theta is the angle between flux density B and area vector A. Theta is the angle between B and A, because we know the equation is NBA cos theta, where theta is the angle between B and A. So first we may represent the direction of B, right? So the direction of B is from, say, north pole to south pole. It should be like opposite to this. Okay. Anyway, this represents about the direction of B, and the area vector is perpendicular to this plane of the coil. So this represents about the direction of area vector. So here this is the area vector, right? So this is the plane of the area, and the area vector is perpendicular to this plane of the area. Now you can see that these two are perpendicular. So we may represent like this: B and A are perpendicular. So angle between B and A. Now the angle between B and A is equal to what? 90 degree. Theta is equal to 90 degree. So we may draw it like here, like this. So this is the area and area of the coil, and area vector is drawn perpendicular to the plane of the coil. So now here A is perpendicular to the plane of the coil, and here B is perpendicular to A, right? Here B is perpendicular to A. And when we turn it through 90 degree, right? When we turn the coil through 90 degree, now you can see what? Now the area vector will be parallel to the magnetic field. So this is the plane of the coil, okay, and now this is the area vector, right? This is the area vector A. Now you can see that both B and A are parallel to each other, right? Both B and A are parallel to each other, or this is the condition theta equal to 0, right? So when theta is equal to 0, the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. That is the point. When theta equal to 0 means what? the area vector of the coil and B are parallel to each other. In other words, the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the direction of B. Or the area vector A is parallel to B, right? But plane of the coil is perpendicular to B. That is a point to be noticed. Plane of the coil is perpendicular to B. So when area vector is parallel to B, then plane of the coil is perpendicular to B. That is a condition theta equal to 0. So that is one case of omega t, because theta is equal to omega t. So theta is equal to 0 means the plane of the coil is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. So normally we think when theta equal to 0, the plane, the A is parallel to B, but it is not like that. Theta equal to 0 means area vector is parallel to B, or plane of the coil is perpendicular to direction of B. Then our next point is theta is equal to 90 degree. And when theta is equal to 90 degree, this is the case, right? This is the case. That means this is the direction of B. Now area vector should be perpendicular to B. Okay. So this is the plane of the coil, and area vector is perpendicular to plane of the coil. So now area vector is perpendicular to the plane of this coil. So this is the plane of the coil. So plane of the coil, or area vector is perpendicular to plane of the coil, and now you can see that B and A are perpendicular to each other. That is, the angle between vector B and vector A is 90 degree. So when theta is equal to 0, that means what? That means area vector is perpendicular to direction of B, or in other words, plane of the coil is parallel to B. Plane of the coil is parallel to the direction of the magnetic field. So there is another case of omega t. So omega t could be 90 degree. So during the rotation, you can see that the value of this theta or the value of omega t will be continuously changing. So in the first half, in the first case, theta equal to 0. Theta equal to 0 means what? Theta equal to 0 means area vector is parallel to B. Then theta equal to 90 means again you rotate the coil through 90 degree. So that is the case of theta equal to 90 degree. Then this area vector, so previously this area vector is parallel to B. Now when we turn it through 90 degree, this area vector will come down. That means this is the case of 90 degree. Now you can see that with respect to the direction of B, A is perpendicular to B, or theta is equal to 90 degree. Again, if we rotate this coil through 90 degree, the total angle will be what? 180 degree, right? So if we again turn it through 90 degree, or if we again turn the coil through 90 degree, now the direction of the area vector will be like this, right? Now here you can see that what? It is anti-parallel, right? It is anti-parallel to the area vector is anti-parallel to the direction of B. So in the first case, area vector is parallel to B. In the next case, we are turning this coil through 90 degree. So as a result, this area vector becomes what? Perpendicular to B. Theta is equal to 90 degree. Again we rotate this coil through 90 degree. Now it will again turn. So this will come to the other side. So this is the case. Now you can see the direction of A and B. We can see that direction of A is anti-parallel to B, or theta is equal to 180 degree. So this way, when the coil rotates, the value of theta will be continuously changing. So with respect to this angle theta, the value of E will be changing, and that is the point we want to make. So for simplicity, we may mark the sides of this coil P, Q, R, S, and through this rotation of the coil, we can see how the sides are changing. So previously, or when theta is equal to 0, this is the case of this is the side PQRS, right? So these are the sides PQRS appears, and when we turn it through 90 degree, what happen? This will come like this. So P and Q will come to the other side. That means P and Q has reached here, and R and S will go to this side. So this is the side RS. Now again, if we turn it through 90 degree, what will happen? This RS will go to this side, right? So RS now becomes what? Like this, and PQ goes down. So this is how PQRS signs changes. So this is for a pictorial representation of the rotation of the coil. Now we may see how the value of E changes with respect to the rotation of the coil. That means with respect to the rotation of the coil through different angles, how the value of E changes. So here the values of omega t in radian, right? The value of omega t is taken as pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi radians. So starting from 0 to 2 pi radian it changes. And when the value of omega t changes from 0 to 2 pi, how the value of E changes? So E is equal to E0 sin omega t. I told you E0 is a constant. When omega t is equal to 0, that is the first case, omega t equal to 0, you know, sin 0 is 0. Therefore, E0 into 0 will be 0. So the value of E will be 0 when omega t is equal to 0. In the next case, omega t is equal to pi by 2, right? So when omega t is equal to pi by 2, what is the value of E0 sin omega t? So omega t equal to pi by 2 means it is E0 into sin pi by 2. We know pi by 2 is 90 degree and the value of sin 90 is 1. Therefore it is E0 into 1. Therefore the value of E is E0. So you can see the change here itself. When omega t equal to 0, the value of E is 0. But when it makes a small rotation through 90 degree or pi by 2 radian, you can see the value of E becomes what? E0. Next, when omega t is equal to pi, we can see that E is equal to, it is E0 into sin pi, and sin pi is equal to 0. Therefore it is 0. So the value of E equal to 0. Next, omega t is equal to 3 pi by 2. Therefore it is E0 into sin 3 pi by 2. And that is equal to minus 1. Sin 3 pi by 2 is equal to minus 1, or 270 degrees. Sin 270 is minus 1. Therefore it is minus E0. Next it is 2 pi. That means 360 degree. And sin 360 degree is equal to what? 0. Therefore again E0 into 0 is equal to 0. So this is how the value of E changes, right? You can see it is start from 0. That means there is no induced EMF, right? When omega t is equal to 0, or when the plane of the coil is perpendicular to, right? When the plane of the coil is perpendicular to direction of magnetic field, there is no EMF induced. And when it turns through an angle of pi by 2, that means area vector is perpendicular to B, then the EMF is maximum. Then again in the next 90 degree rotation, it becomes 0. Then the EMF becomes negative, again 0. This way the value of EMF continuously changes throughout the rotation, right? So this is how it changes in a single rotation, from 0 to E0 to 0 to minus E0 to again 0. Now we may represent it graphically. So here we are going to draw a graph, and here we mark the value of EMF E0. So this is plus E0. Below we can mark minus E0. Then along the x-axis we can mark omega t, different values omega t. So first it is 0, then pi by 2, then pi, 3 pi by 2, 2 pi. Now when omega t equal to 0, what is the value of E? E is equal to 0. So we may mark it. So this is the point. Next, omega t is equal to pi by 2. When omega t is equal to pi by 2, the value of E is E0. So we may mark the value of E0 here. So it is plus E0. Next, omega t is equal to pi. When omega t is equal to pi, the value of E is equal to 0. So this is 0. Next, omega t is equal to 3 pi by 2. When omega t is equal to 3 pi by 2, the value of E is minus E0. So we may mark it here. It is minus E0. And finally, the value of omega t is equal to 2 pi. And for 2 pi, the value of E is equal to 0. So these are the different points. Right? Now, we may join all these dots. Okay, we may draw it slowly, and this is the approximate shape we will get, right? And this kind of curve is called a sine curve, that you might have learned. This kind of curve is called a sine curve, but this drawing is not so neat, so we may see a nice diagram or a nice graph of this kind of wave or this kind of EMF. So it is it. So here you can see the values are changing, right? Omega t up to 4 pi we have drawn. Previously we have drawn only up to 2 pi. So here the values are drawn up to 4 pi. That means 2 rotations. And here there are markings like t by 4, t by 2, etc. So what is t? T means the period. It is the time period of the rotation of the coil. It is the time required for one complete rotation. So time period represents the time required for one complete rotation. So this is the one complete rotation, right? So the time required for this full rotation is called what? Period. So this is the one full rotation or 360 degree, right? Then what is t by 2? T by 2 will be what? Half rotation. So this is t by 2, right? And t by 2 correspond to what? T by 2 correspond to pi or 180 degree. Then next it is t by 4. T by 4 means what? Only 90 degree, right? So that is the meaning of t by 2 or t by 4, etc. And t is equal to 360 degree. So this is how the value of E, the induced EMF change with respect to time or with respect to the value of omega t. So with this we are winding up here. Thank you for watching.